Hello students. In the previous lecture, we discussed about the first section of the poem The Lotus Eaters, written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Now we will discuss the second part of the poem, that is entitled as Choric Song. Chorus is a group of singers. Here, group of mariners is singing together a song that is entitled as Choric Song. Now the foregoing 5 stanzas of regular 9 lines each are descriptive and present a beautiful picture of a strange land where Odysseus and his party of sailors reached by chance. First 5 stanzas जो हमने फर्स्ट सेक्शन में किए हैं वहाँ पर इस आइलैंड के बारे में, इस स्ट्रेंज लैंड के बारे में बताया गया है, इसको डिस्क्राइब किया गया है कि ये किस तरह का प्लेस है. Everything in the Lotus land shows sign of drowsiness and every object of nature induces sleep. Lotus land की हर चीज़ जो है वो एक तरह से लेजीनेस, ड्राउजीनेस क्रिएट करती है और हर ऑब्जेक्ट वहाँ का जो है वो भी स्लीप इंड्यूसिंग है. The sailors are completely charmed by the atmosphere of the Lotus land and its calmness infects them. They find it useless to labor or undertake any kind of toil when nature is calm and tranquil. They ask why man, the superior being, should be condemned to toil when everything in nature is restful. Leaves, flowers, and fruits grow, fade, and then die away. There is no struggle in their life process. Man has to learn a lesson from them. The sailors effectively bring out the contrast between the life of man and that of the objects of nature in their song. When everything is doomed, weary labor is the mockery of life. Let us enjoy peace and die quietly. Sailors do not desire to return home, but want to cherish its memory only from a distance. As they have sang in the last 2 lines of the first section of the poem, when at once they sang together, our island home is far beyond the wave, we will no longer roam. Finally, the sailors resolved to stay on the Lotus land and live there like gods, banishing all care and anxiety from their hearts. Just as the gods are unmindful of human misery and sorrow, the sailors too would live alone, oblivious of social obligations. So this is a summary of Choric Song here. Now we will discuss the poem itself. This is the first stanza of Choric Song. It begins as, there is sweet music here, that softer falls than petals from blown roses on the grass. These lines open up a new section of the poem, that is Choric Song. This stanza is the first part of what Tennyson calls the Choric Song, we can say. That basically just means that all the sailors who ate the lotus have gotten together in a chorus and are singing about why they don't want to go home. Here they are telling the reason. In the last line of the first section, they sang that they will no longer roam, they will not return to their home. Here they give the reason why they want to stay at this place, at this island. In this new section, the speaker of the poem has shifted from the narrator we met in the first 5 stanzas. Now there are many speakers speaking at the same time. In the first part of the poem, what we have seen, the speaker was a single person, and here it shifts from the narrator to these mariners. They start out by telling us what seems so great about this new place. For starters, they say there is sweet music in the land of lotus eaters. This music is softer than a petal falling from a fully bloomed rose. What a nice comparison is given here. These mariners says, then when a petal fall from the rose, separates from the rose and fall down on the grass, how softly it falls on it. But this music is more softer than that. What a nice comparison कि जब एक पेटल जो है गुलाब की पंखुड़ी जब गिरती है गुलाब के फूल से अलग होके ग्रास पे तो वो कितना सॉफ्टली गिरती होगी, उससे भी ज़्यादा सॉफ्टली यहाँ का म्यूज़िक है. और नाइट ड्यूज ऑन स्टिल वाटर्स between walls of shadowy granite in a gleaming pass. Here, the singing sailor used another little metaphor, comparing the softness of the music in their new home to the softness of the dew that falls on water in high mountain pass. This is the another metaphor, first metaphor, that music is compared with petals of blown roses. Now they compare this music with night dews. We can understand this line from in a gleaming pass. Gleaming pass means shining river that is passing between two walls of shadowy granite. Granite is the name of stone. It is a kind of stone. Shadowy means dark. सो देर इज़ अ स्टिल वाटर, बिल्कुल शांत पानी है, दो दीवारों के बीच में, दीवारें ग्रेनाइट की बनी हुई है और वहाँ जो ग्लीमिंग शाइनिंग रिवर है उस पर जब ड्यू ड्रॉप्स गिरती हैं उस स्टिल वाटर पर, बिल्कुल शांत पानी है और उस पर ओस की बूंदें जब गिरती हैं तो वो कितना सॉफ्टली गिरती होंगी. दिस म्यूज़िक इज़ सॉफ्टर देन दैट. ये म्यूज़िक उससे भी ज़्यादा सॉफ्ट है. Music that gentlier on the spirit lies than tired eyelids upon tired eyes. These sailors tell how soft and gentle this music they hear is. It's even gentler that tired eyelids upon tired eyes. कि ये म्यूज़िक जो है अपने स्पिरिट पे इतना ज़्यादा जेंटल है जितना कि अगर हम देखें कि जो थकी हुई आईलिड्स है वो जब हमारी आंखों पे गिरती है तो वो कितना जेंटल तरीके से कितना सॉफ्टली गिरती होगी. बट दिस म्यूज़िक इज़ मोर जेंटलियर देन दैट. म्यूज़िक दैट ब्रिंग्स स्वीट स्लीप डाउन फ्रॉम द ब्लिसफुल skies. The music these sailors hear is likely a lullaby and it makes them happy. It makes them look forward to sweet sleep. Even the skies seem blissful in this musical sport. Here, the sky is looking them blissful. And there is a kind of atmosphere, there is a kind of music that is bringing a sweet sleep to these people. Now here we can see the poet has used metaphors, as well as here we can also see alliteration in the word sweet sleep. Here sound of S letter is repeated. Here are cool mosses deep and through the moss the ivies creep. Here is another beautiful natural picture is given. There are cool mosses deep. Moss is a kind of green plant that we see in ponds or the place where water is available. So there are cool mosses deep and through the mosses or in mosses के बीच में से ivies is a creeper. Ivy जो है वो उसकी जो creepers है वो लगी हुई हैं. And in the stream the long leaved flowers weep and from the craggy ledge the poppy hangs in sleep. Here is a little more information on the plants. In this case, both the flowers and the poppy are personified. We can see personified how? फ्लावर्स वीप, फ्लावर्स जो है वो रो रहे हैं। फ्लावर्स की जो लॉन्ग लीव्स हैं वो नीचे की ओर स्ट्रीम में ऐसे लग रही है जैसे कि कोई टीयर की शेप है। तो फ्लावर्स आर वीपिंग मीन्स फ्लावर्स आर personified, एंड फ्रॉम द craggy ledge the poppy hangs in sleep. Poppy, opium plant, is also hanging as it is slept. So poppy is personified and flowers are personified. The flowers droop into the water of the stream as if they are weeping. The poppy hangs off the edge of the cliff as if it were in a sleep. Now, second part or second stanza of the choric song. Why are we weighed upon with heaviness and utterly consumed with sharp distress, while all things else have rest from weariness? The sailor starts a new stanza. Now they switch from talking about their beautiful new home to complaining about how hard life is. In the first stanza of choric song, these sailors described that how beautiful is the place where they want to stay. कि जगह जहाँ वो रुकना चाहते हैं वो कितनी ज़्यादा अच्छी है, कितना अच्छा वहाँ का म्यूज़िक है, कितना अच्छा एटमॉस्फेयर है। अब सेकंड स्टेंजा में उन्होंने उस नेचुरल पिक्चर को छोड़ के एक नई तरह की बात करना शुरू कर दी है। व्हाट दे आर डूइंग हियर, दे आर कंप्लेनिंग, वो अब शिकायत कर रहे हैं। दे आर नॉट ओनली सैड बट ऑल्सो अपसेट एंड स्ट्रेस्ड आउट। व्हाट दे से, वाई आर वी वेड अपॉन विद हैवीनेस एंड अटरली मीन्स कम्प्लीटली कंज्यूम्ड विद शार्प डिस्ट्रेस। वो कह रहे हैं कि क्यों हम दबे जा रहे हैं और क्यों हम शार्प डिस्ट्रेस यानी निराशा के अंदर, निराशा के द्वारा कंज्यूम किए जा रहे हैं, जबकि ऑल थिंग्स एल्स हैव रेस्ट फ्रॉम वियरीनेस, कि बाकी जितनी भी चीज़ें हैं दे हैव रेस्ट फ्रॉम वियरीनेस, वो टायर्डनेस से दूर है, उनको कोई वियरीनेस, कोई टायर्ड होने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। दे आर फ्री फ्रॉम वर्क, दे हैव नो वर्क, दे हैव नो हैवीनेस, दे हैव नो डिस्ट्रेस, देन वाई शुड वी, तो हम क्यों निराश रहें, क्यों हम हैवीनेस से दबे रहें। ऑल थिंग्स हैव रेस्ट, वाई शुड वी टॉयल अलोन। यहाँ पर मैरिनर्स ने अपनी पॉइंट जो है, मेन बात है जो उनके माइंड में वो बताई है। ऑल थिंग्स हैव रेस्ट, वी ओनली टॉयल हु आर द फर्स्ट ऑफ थिंग्स एंड मेक परपेचुअल मोन still from one sorrow to another thrown. Apparently, these sailors feel like everything else in the world gets to rest, while they are the only ones who have to labor and work. This is just another effect of the lotus. It makes rest look great and any kind of work look awful. ये लोटस फ्रूट का असर है इन पर कि वो क्या कह रहे हैं, ऑल थिंग्स हैव रेस्ट, कि सारी चीज़ें आराम कर रही हैं, हम अकेले काम क्यों करें। टॉयल मीन्स हार्ड वर्क, वाई शुड वी टॉयल अलोन, वाई शुड वी डू हार्ड वर्क अलोन, वी ओनली टॉयल, हम अकेले काम करते हैं। हु आर द फर्स्ट ऑफ थिंग्स, फर्स्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स मीन्स द प्राइम क्रिएशन ऑफ गॉड। We only toil who are the first of things and make perpetual moan, still from one sorrow to another drawn. In these lines, we start to see that these sailors are not just feeling sorry for themselves, they are actually complaining about how hard life is for all of mankind. They think of mankind as the first of things. Ironically, though, we are also the only things on earth that have to work, they also think that we are the only living things that experience sadness and express our sorrow. They think that we are the prime creation of God. गॉड ने जितनी भी चीज़ें क्रिएट की है उसमें फर्स्ट और प्राइम और सबसे सुपीरियर क्रिएशन जो है वो ह्यूमन बीइंग है। तो हम जो फर्स्ट ऑफ थिंग्स यानी प्राइम क्रिएशन है गॉड की, वी ओनली टॉयल, वी ओनली वर्क एंड वी मेक परपेचुअल मोन, और लगातार हम क्या करते रहते हैं, परपेचुअल मतलब एवर लास्टिंग, मोन मतलब दुख को सहना, और वी ऑलवेज एक्सप्रेस आवर सोरोज, स्टिल फ्रॉम वन सोरो टू अनदर थ्रोन एंड वी आर थ्रोन फ्रॉम वन सोरो टू अनदर, एक दूसरे दुख में हमें धकेल दिया जाता है. Nor ever fold of wings and cease from wanderings, nor steep our brows in slumber's holy balm, nor hearken what the inner spirit sings. A lot of imagery in this poem is about wandering versus being at home. इस poem में ज़्यादातर images जो है वो एक तरफ दिखाया गया है कि ये sailors है, they do wandering, and on the other place there is imagery of sleep or imagery of home. Nor ever fold our wings. Folding the wings means taking rest and cease from wandering. What they want to say, that we never fold our wings, we never stop from wandering. हम घूमना नहीं छोड़ते हैं, हम घूमना रुकते नहीं हैं, because we are sailors. And we never fold our wings means we never take rest, nor steep our brows in slumber's holy balm. In this line, the tired sailors fantasize about being asleep. They imagine that sleep would be a cure for all their misery. उन्हें लगता है कि स्लीप से उनके सारे दुख तकलीफ जो है वो सब खत्म हो जाएंगे, वही उसका क्योर है. They use a metaphor to compare sleep to a balm that they could soak their foreheads in. Nor hearken what the inner spirit sings, there is no joy but calm. These persons just can't get any rest. They imagine that their souls are telling them to be calm, to rest, to relax. They think that is the only way to be happy, to feel joy. There is no joy in life that is not calm. Here what they think, that there is a calmness. इस जगह पर इन्हें एक तरह का पीसफुल एटमॉस्फेयर, पीसफुल जगह ये लगी उन्हें, एंड दैट्स वाई दे आर सीइंग. नोर हार्कन व्हाट द इनर स्पिरिट सिंग्स, कि हम कभी भी नहीं सुनते, हार्कन मीन्स हियर, व्हाट द इनर स्पिरिट सिंग्स, कि हमारी अंतरात्मा क्या कहती है. देयर इज़ नो जॉय बट काम, हमें क्या चाहिए, वी नीड पीस, वी नीड रेस्ट. Why should we only toil the roof and crown of things? We, human beings, who are the roof and crown of things. Now the mariners on the beach finish of this second stanza of the Chorik song. They end by asking a question. Why the best creature in the world, the roof and crown of things, yani best creature of the world, should be the only ones who have to work. The roof and crown are two metaphors for mankind's position at the top of creation. तो ये कह रहे हैं कि हम लोग जो कि सभी चीज़ों की रूफ और क्राउन यानी सबसे सुपीरियर हैं, सबसे ऊंचे हैं, तो वाई शुड वी ओनली टॉयल, वाई शुड वी ओनली डू हार्ड वर्क.